Now do it for the Steelers' first preseason game, for the first game of the return of Steelers football. The Steelers won 27-17 in the preseason opener. I'd say a very solid game from the entire team. We saw a lot of good, a lot of promise, a lot to be excited about, a lot of positivity, and not a lot to be negative about, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
That was the one thing we were all looking most forward to was the offense as a whole, how they'd attack with the football, how the ones would look, how disciplined they'd be, how the O-line will look. And I'd say, man, from how much we've invested, from how much we've heard about in camp, for the most part, they were as advertised.
Yeah.
Especially how they opened the game with Kenny Pickett. He only saw one drive tonight. Only one, which is a little upsetting, especially seeing how it ended, and we wanted to see more of that. But I suppose it leaves you more hungry for next week in Buffalo and Heinz Field, right? Their opening drive, touchdown.
George Pickens, man.
About 5.5 minutes. It was a clean drive. It was just exactly what you wanted to see. If we see more of that throughout the preseason, throughout the regular season, into further into the season, man, you know, this offense could truly be something great. It could truly be something that could really build this team, that can help win this game, help this team win football games and help the defense out. They were methodical. They were chill. They were getting first downs, third down conversions. Deontay looked good with the few catches he had. Kenny especially looked very composed, very chill in the pocket. The O-line looked solid. His pocket movement was nice. And, of course, his touchdown to Pickens, right? His touchdown to Pickens was great. A good little in route, middle of the field. Nice throw. Pickens caught it, made a man miss, and just walked his way into the end zone, man. That Pickett to Pickens connection is already showing you on the first and only drive they worked what the NFL can get used to, what us Steelers fans can get used to, and what the NFL should watch out for. That was beautiful.
Yes, it was. It was a very, very good drive there.
That drive was awesome. We even got to see some solid blocks from Washington and all them with Jalen Warren running the football. You know, the ones, all they saw was one drive. The entire starting O-line, Pickett, our receivers, they only saw one drive. That's it. Tomlin saw one drive. They were as advertised. They scored. They're like, all right, you did enough. Let's get on out of here. Let's go back into camp. Let's go back to the Latrobe healthy. And next week, we anticipate them to see more drives, maybe a series or two, maybe a whole quarter. I don't know, but we're definitely going to see more time from them next week. And hopefully they show some consistency. I think that'd be great. But from what we saw, that little glimpse, that little taste, I like it.
Yeah, let's bring it to Heinz Field next week, man.
Absolutely, man. With the twos, with Mitch in, you know, the offense still looked pretty solid. You know, Mitch had a rough start, 3 and out. He threw an interception, which wasn't entirely his fault. Cody White, he's just not a guy that can go up and rip it from his defender, so that ended in an interception. But nonetheless, he still got down the field. They were able to get first downs with Connor Hayward, who had a good game. He got a couple third down conversions, showing his dependability, showing his strong hands. And the O-line, Brody Jones, looking good all game. Even he played up until the fourth quarter. He still looked solid. He only had one negative, which was a holding penalty, but nonetheless, he looked good as well throughout the whole game. But a guy like Anthony McFarland as well. You've seen what his speed can bring to the offense, man. He got our second touchdown of the game before the end of the first half. Right as Mitch finished his drives. I mean, it looked good. You let him work in space. You let him use his speed in that area. The way that play was drawn up was perfect. That's exactly how you use McFarland and his speed, and it ended in a touchdown. So, good stuff from McFarland, good stuff from the line, good stuff from the rushing offense. Can't really say much negative. Can't really say much negative about the entire offense. Not even the play calling. Truthfully. There's nothing negative I can say about the play calling. The only thing I can say is the jet sweeps were a little too consistent. We saw that with Calvin Austin twice. We saw that with Jordan Byrd later into the game. I felt like the jet sweeps could be minimized a little bit, in my opinion, but I understand.
Yeah, the old reliable out of Matt Canada's back pocket. He's like, you know, let me get a couple jet sweeps in there. It's like maybe cool it down a little bit, but
I'm not even going to be mad about that. I'm going to let him get his fun out there. You know, he wanted to use his speedy guys, and which he did with Austin. His first touch went 17 yards. Great blocks by Washington and Gentry from our tight end group. And, of course, Calvin Austin, probably the winner of the game, the highlight of the game. His first NFL game ever after being on IR all last week.
Yeah, his first bit of action, man. He was literally the star of the show.
Dude.
The superstar of the night.
2 jet sweeps and a 67-yard bomb. Mason to Austin. Great throw, great catch, great run, just burned his defender. That's exactly what he's going to bring to this offense. That's exactly how we're going to use him, man. In his first bit of action, that taste was so sweet, and we just want more, man. I'm hoping next week we can see more of that, and hopefully we see him with Kenny a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I think that's going to increase his reps next week, so that was a great highlight, probably the highlight of the night. That was just so poetic for him, so sweet, so great.
Yeah.
After everything last year, his first NFL game, just a very good feel-good moment. So that was awesome. But other than that, the defense looked very good, I would say. They held their own. Most of the points they allowed came in garbage time from a lot of the other depth guys. If there's one negative I got to say about the defense is that some of the secondary depth pieces allowed their wide receivers to be open a little too often for my liking.
And not just that, but they missed some tackles at the same time.
They did.
They could definitely work on that. Now, they are backups, but that's still a little bit worrisome.
Yeah.
But the depth that we have there in the secondary.
Because Joey Porter Jr. didn't play tonight, which is a little disappointing, but he should play next week. His first NFL game is going to be in the stadium he grew up in, which is a little poetic. That's a very good story there for him. So that's going to be exciting to see next week. But because he didn't play, we got to see more time with James Pierre and Elijah Riley and Shannon Sullivan, and they all look pretty decent, I would say. Other than that, the run defense looked very solid.
Much more improved. Much more improved and physical.
He's very physical. You want to talk about physical?
You can't get as physical as Quan Alexander, buddy.
Not just him, but Mark Robinson.
And Mark Robinson.
That linebacker room showing you how much improved it is. Why we revamped the entire linebacker room. Mark Robinson in his second year showed his ability in the run support, showing his range, showing his speed, showing you that, hey, he can play like a Steelers linebacker. He may be shoved down the depth chart a little bit because of all the additions, but he still has a role in this team. He's going to be a special teams gunner, and I feel like we got to find a way to put him on the field.
And he shows it. He shows it, man. The guy is working. The guy wants to get on the field. The guy wants to play. The guy wants to start.
He deserves it. He deserves it. For what he's already showing as a linebacker with so much inexperience, it's great. It's a hell of a highlight.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a journey, man, to see how much he's progressed.
Just this whole offseason, he's bulked up. His awareness is a bit better. Yeah. His aggressiveness is still there, if not even more aggressive. Yes. His tackling is pretty much on point, on par. Like Robinson, man, if he keeps it up, if he's more consistent, because you talk about consistency with the offense, if Robinson can be consistent in his reps.
Absolutely.
Then he could really work his way up the depth chart sooner than we may expect.
Yeah, man.
Not trying to overhype him, because he's still working, he's still developing at linebacker. This is his third year at the position, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from the guy.
We can say the same for, like you said, Quan Alexander. My God. And against his former team, against the team he built his name in, or in the stadium he built his name in, I mean, he can lay the hammer, and he's not afraid to do it. He's not afraid to show it. Guy, he was everywhere. On the run support, he made a great breakup. I mean, it was a penalty, but good Lord, this guy is just a missile. This guy is a he's like a wrecking ball getting ready to be shot out of a cannon. I mean, this guy's just ferocious. And that's the reputation we have as Steelers linebackers. We didn't have that last year. In fact, Quan Alexander and Mark Robinson alone tonight showed more aggression, more physicality than I've ever seen from a Steelers linebacker since Shazier went down. And that's not a lie. I love what I saw from the linebacker group. And I love what I saw from the rushing defense, from the D-line group. A little wavy, but a guy like Keanu Benton had a hell of a game. I know he went out with an ankle injury. That's a little concerning. We'll see how severe it is, but every time he was on the field, bro, he popped out onto the screen.
Yeah, as soon as the ball was snapped, just his pass rush ability off the snap of the ball,
his burst,
off the line of scrimmage.
That was so evident in his college game, was his burst off the snap, and he showed that in the pass rush, especially in the run support. DeMarvin Leal did the same thing. Brandon Fioku had a good pass batted down late into the game, right? That D-line group's looking much improved.
Yeah.
I want to see a little more consistency from them as well as for the entire team, but we also got to talk about Nick Herbig. If you want to talk about defensive player of the game, he might get that a sack and a half.
Yeah.
My God, bro. I mean, he's showing you that the edge depth already has improved compared to last year, man. That's why we drafted him. We already got a steal in him in the 4th round. How about all the rookies, man? Brody Jones looked good, minimized his mistakes, didn't allow much pressure. And yes, I'm very willing to let him have one holding penalty than rather him getting shoved into the ground and rather him getting pressed into the quarterback, unlike a Kendrick Green. which we saw today.
Yeah, he was the biggest negative of the game. Kendrick Green should not be playing offensive lineman ever again.
No.
I'm sorry, he shouldn't.
No. That was not surprising, but still disappointing.
No offensive lineman should be lifted up by a defensive lineman.
No,
I'm sorry.
That was terrible.
I'm sorry.
That was terrible.
But no, Brady held his own. Keanu Benton held his own. He looked real good. Darnell Washington, when he was in there, his run blocking ability was very, very well seen.
And what I like about that is they all saw a lot of playing time.
They did.
The Steelers were not shy about letting them play. Jones played up until the fourth quarter. Benton played up until the third until he got injured. Nick Herbig played up until the third. They all played up until late into the game. It was great. I love that they're getting these guys feet wet because they're all going to have some sort of impact early on.
I'll even say Spencer Anderson. You know, he started the game at right tackle, then he was just moved around all along the offensive line the rest of the game.
Showed his versatility. You love that, man. So a lot of good stuff to come out this game. You know, it's the first game. You don't want to overreact. You also don't want to overhype anything. Next week is where it's really going to show if this team can remain consistent in a lot of areas. With the ones, with the depth guys, we'll see who can still make a name for themselves. Can McFarland continue to keep it up? Can Calvin Austin continue to keep it up? Can the ones stay consistent on offense? I want to see more drives from them because if they can keep it consistent and consecutive drives, that speaks a lot of good heading into the regular season.
Yeah, can the whole offense as a whole together with the first to the thirds and even the fourth stringers, you know, can they change it up a bit? You know, can they get some extra plays under their wing?
And next week we're going to see a lot more of the ones on defense. So there's going to be a lot more to be excited for next week. So today was a little taste, a lot of good, not much negative to come out of it. A good win, a good confidence booster from these guys heading back into Latrobe for camp. But next week we're going to see more from the ones. We're going to see more time from these guys, and hopefully we see a lot more consistency because if that's the case, then there's going to be a lot of good to come out of this preseason. But we hope that's the case. So nothing to overreact to, but nothing to overhype as well. So we'll see what these guys do in Heinz Field against the Bills next Saturday. And hopefully a guy like JPJ gets his first bit of action next week. So
yeah,
it's going to be great. But a lot of good to come out of this. What was your guys' highlight of the game? Who was your guys' player of the game? Who was the guys you liked the most? If there's anyone that we didn't even mention, let us know in the comments. Otherwise, you guys... let us know how you guys feel about this game. Man, first preseason games is in the books. It's under wraps, and Steelers football is officially back, man.
And it feels good.
It feels great. It feels great, and, you know, the chat said it all stream, man. We're feeling good. We're feeling good.
Yeah.
Feeling very confident going into next week. So we'll see what these guys can bring to the table. Otherwise, see you in the next one.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!